Hi! It's a great day to be alive, isn't it? If you are a person with a disability, a caregiver, a family member, a friend, or someone interested in the disability lifestyle, you've come to the right place. Welcome to An Apple a Day, Living with a Disability. We're not only a podcast but also a resource and a community. This is the place where we will share experiences and learn from others as we overcome barriers and discuss the ways to live a happy, healthy life, not as disabled people but as people with disabilities. Welcome to the community. Here's your host, Jimmy Apple.
Welcome to another episode of An Apple a Day. I'm your host, Jimmy Apple. How you feeling today, my friends? You feeling good? You feeling strong? You feeling better than you did yesterday? Excellent. You can't ask for better than that. Before we start, let me remind you, An Apple a Day is brought to you by FamousApple.com. FamousApple.com is the home site for this podcast. So if you get a minute, check it out. While you're skipping around the web, make sure to stop by our page on Facebook, Living with a Disability. It's a private group, but there's people over there having fun. They're chatting, they're talking with one another, they're making friends, they're having fun. Why shouldn't you? Join the group, Living with a Disability. You can get there by going to www.famousapple.com/group. It'll bring you right to the page on Facebook. You'll have a lot of fun, I guarantee it. I'm over there a lot. There's a lot of people back and forth. So give it a shot. Give it a try. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, we have got a good one for you today. Today we're talking about friendship. You're probably saying, friendship? Okay. But let me ask you something. Do you know how to be a friend? You're probably saying in your head, of course, everybody knows how to be a friend. No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. Now, I was looking on the web, and I was checking YouTube, and I was asking how to be a friend. And there's thousands of pages that come up about that. So I narrowed the search down. How to be a friend with a disability. And again, it comes up, there's thousands of pages, how to be friends with a person with a disability. So again, I pared the search down a little bit, and I said, how to be a friend when you have a disability. And again, comes up, there's pages for that. Then I pared it down even more. How can you be a friend to an able-bodied person? And it came back up with the same stuff, puking up the same stuff. Then I wrote in, how can a person with a disability be a friend to an able-bodied person? And it puked out the same stuff that it was puking out before. So I found it kind of strange that there was pages for people who are able-bodied to be friends with a person with a disability, but there were no pages or videos to show a person with a disability how to be friends with an able-bodied person. There's all these other ones that are telling able-bodied people how to be friends with people with disabilities, but none going the other way. And I was behooved by it all. I was confused. Why don't they have it the other way? And I found it kind of insulting, some of the responses that they had about how to be friends with a person with a disability. Then I thought, well, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm looking in the wrong spots. So I started asking other people to look. And they were coming back saying
Hi,
they
Jimmy.
can't find
When I
anything.
searched
So,
the web,
of
I
course,
basically got the
passed it
same
on to
results
my
as you.
friend Dave.
There are plenty of
And
suggestions about how
here's
to be
what
friends with a
Dave
person with a
found. So sit
disability,
back,
but
listen
virtually
to Dave
nothing on
for
how
a
a person
second,
with a
and we'll
disability
get
should
back
act as a
together
friend to
after
others.
Dave talks to us.
To be honest, when I was reading the results and listening to the videos, the overall tone towards people with disabilities sounded condescending. I searched for how can a person with a disability be a friend with an able-bodied person. The results went from generic to people being friends with people with disabilities, to people with disabilities being friends with each other as in the following. Maintaining a friendship involves regular communication, mutual support, and understanding. Make time for your friends, listen actively, and be there for them during good and bad times. Show appreciation, be honest, and resolve conflicts with empathy. Share experiences and interests, and celebrate each other's successes. Consistency and effort are key to keeping the bond strong. Maintaining a friendship with a person with a disability involves empathy, respect, and inclusion. Communicate openly and listen actively, valuing their perspectives. Adapt activities to be accessible and enjoyable for both of you. Show patience and understanding towards their needs without being overbearing. Celebrate their strengths and support them through challenges. Foster a genuine connection by being yourself and treating them as you would any friend, focusing on shared interests and mutual respect. Maintaining a friendship between two people with disabilities involves mutual understanding, patience, and support. Clear communication is crucial, considering any specific needs or challenges. They should encourage and assist each other, fostering a sense of independence while being dependable. Sharing activities that accommodate both parties can strengthen the bond. Being empathetic to each other's experiences and advocating for one another enhances trust and respect. Celebrating each other's successes and providing emotional support during tough times are key. Adaptability and a positive outlook help in overcoming obstacles together, ensuring a lasting and fulfilling friendship. I don't know. It all sounds very nice, but it doesn't sound real. It sounds like something is missing. I'm gonna turn this back over to Jimmy. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Dave. That's basically what I found, and you're right. It does sound condescending because it's putting the work on the other person. There's a thing on Facebook, it says, how do you treat a person with a disability? You treat them like a person. A disability doesn't take away your ability to be a person. All of those things are very nice. They say, oh, you treat your friend with a disability with empathy and you congratulate them on their ability to do this and do that. That's bullshit. I'm sorry. That's all it is. Think about this. You're able-bodied. You go out with your friend who's able-bodied. He does something. Do you congratulate him for doing it? No. Do you treat him with empathy when you go out? No. Why should you treat a person with a disability any different than you would treat anybody else? You shouldn't. And by the same token, why should a person with a disability expect to be treated any different? They shouldn't. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of tips for the people with a disability. I'm going to give you a couple of tips on how you should act. All right? Because that seems to be missing when you Google or when you search for how a person with a disability should act when he's out with a friend who's able-bodied. And these are just a couple of little tidbits, a couple of tips maybe that might help you keep your friendship with an able-bodied person. Number one, an able-bodied person doesn't want to hear about your disability every time you talk to them. Your friend calls you and says, hey, Jim, how you doing? He doesn't want to hear, oh, my leg is bleeding, or, oh, I have such bad back pains today. They don't want to hear that. When they say, how you doing? They're like, it's like a greeting. It's like a salutation. Hey, I'm fine. How you doing? You know, you don't want to hear him say, if you say, how you doing to him, you don't want to hear him tell you, I'm having problems with my girlfriend. She wants to leave me. My kids are sick. That's not what you're asking. You're saying hello, basically. And that's what they're saying to you. Your friend calls you up and says, hey, I got tickets to a concert. You shouldn't make your first question be, is it handicap accessible? Your friend's offering you free tickets to a concert. He tells you where the venue is. Now it's up to you to make a phone call and find out if it is handicap accessible. Very easy. It's not up to your friend to do that for you. If your friend does it for you, that's very nice. But it's not up to you to say, well, is it handicap accessible, and then make him go check or her go check for you. You got fingers. You can make a phone call. Don't expect other people to do for you when you can do it for yourself. I see too many people do that. They become disabled. They get a disability, and all of a sudden, they can't do a damn thing for themselves. They expect everyone else to do it for them. That's not the way it works. And that's how you do end up losing friends. When you start putting responsibilities on them. Responsibilities for you on them. It makes it hard to be your friend because they want to invite you to go somewhere. But before they can invite you, they got to find out if it's handicap accessible. Do you have ramps? Are the bathrooms handicap accessible? That's up to you to find out. I call you up. I'm able-bodied, say. And I call you up and say, look, I got tickets to go to the Pleasantville concert. And you want to go. It's over at ABC Stadium. And you say, yeah, it sounds good. But now it's up to you to check. Does ABC Stadium have ramps that you can get in? Does it have handicapped seating or a place for your wheelchair? Does it have handicap accessible bathrooms? These are things that you have to find out. So you find out, well, it's not handicap accessible. So you call your friend up and say, look, I'd really like to go, but I can't because. You don't want to make your friend feel bad. And you don't want to make your friend stay home because you can't go. You don't want to make everyone else's life miserable because you can't go. Hey, I'll meet you after the concert. It's unfortunate that you can't go, but it shouldn't hold everyone else back. And I've seen too many people do that, especially people that are wheelchair bound. I've seen them hold their friends back and their family back from doing other things. I'm in a wheelchair. I would never hold someone else back from doing something. You gotta be a little bit unselfish. I've gone to Rye Beach. It's a amusement park. I can't go on the rides, but you know what? It's fun to go there. For me, I watch the other people there having fun. It's fun to go there. You gotta change your attitude about things. The other thing is, you can't start making a habit of saying, oh, I feel funny going. Why do you feel funny going? What are you worried about? Why do you worry about what other people think about you? You have to get that out of your head. If your friend's inviting you, evidently, they don't care what you look like. They don't care that you're in a wheelchair. They don't care that you have to use a cane. They don't care. They want your company. They like you. What do you care about what other people think? I never understood that. I'm not going out to impress other people. I went through that. To be honest with you, I went through it. I felt funny going out. I have one leg. But then I realized after some prodding from my wife and a couple of other people, I'm not going out to impress the other people out there. I could give a damn what they think about me. I'm not going out to impress them. I'm going out with my wife. I'm going out with my family. The other people don't like what they see. They can look the other way. But you know what I found out? Nobody looks. Nobody cares. Here all this time I thought I'd go out and people everywhere are looking at me. Nobody cares. You have to get over that. If your friend is asking you to come with them, then they want you with them. They're not asking you out of pity, trust me. But you have to learn to be a good friend. Now here's the other side of that too is, don't wait for them to call you. You can sit there and say, oh, nobody calls me. You got to be a good friend. You got to be willing to call them. You got to be willing to call and make plans. If you're going to sit home all the time and wait for someone to call you and say, I have plans, let's go out, then you're going to become a lonely person. Being a friend is a two-way street. If you want to be friends with someone, you have to be proactive in that relationship just as much as the other one does. Maybe you like someone being condescending to you. Maybe you like someone saying, oh, come, we'll take you out tonight. What are you, a pet? No, you're a person. Act like a person. There's gonna be times where you see something you'd like to do. You know you can do with your disability. So call your buddy up and say, hey, look, there's this going on over at this venue. You want to go? Who knows? Maybe he's free that night. Maybe she's free that night. Go. But don't sit and wait for someone to call you all the time. You want to be treated like a person. You want to be treated like everything's normal. Then you have to act like it too. That's what they don't tell you in these searches or in these videos. They're telling everyone, be empathetic towards you. Celebrate your victories. Celebrate the small things you do. Well, here's the thing. Do big things. Celebrate your friend victories. Celebrate your friends' triumphs. You're still a person. Don't let people make you regress to a child again. Don't wait for someone to clap because you picked up a cup by yourself or did something by yourself. You are still a formidable human being. Act like it. Be a good friend to your friends. You're going to notice after you become disabled, you're going to lose a lot of people that you thought were your friends. I know I had a large group of friends. I used to ride a motorcycle. I've said it before in this podcast. I used to ride a motorcycle. I used to ride with a rather large group of people. And after I became disabled, after I lost my leg, after I lost a lot, put it that way, after I became a person with a disability, slowly but surely, all these people that I thought were my friends, the people I used to go fishing with, the people I rode for miles and days with, people that were like brothers and sisters to me, slowly disappeared. And I'm not talking about 5 or 10 people. I'm talking about 80, 90 people. People that I was at their kids' christenings, birthdays, holidays. I played Santa Claus for their kids. I was at weddings, anniversaries, bat mitzvahs, you name it. Years, I'm telling you. Miles that we put on together. Slowly but surely. You know how many friends I have left out of that group that I still associate with, that I can say are true friends? 2. One is my good friend Doug. We grew up together. He's like a brother to me. He's the brother I never had. And a friend Ronnie. And that's it. Out of 150 people, 2. And Doug and I can go a month without speaking, and you would have thought we spoke earlier that day. Same thing with Ronnie. They're true friends. But they know they don't have to treat me like I'm some kind of child. We speak. They'll ask, how do I feel? What's new with the doctor? I'll tell them. That's the end of it. And then we go on to some other subject. That's what I try to do here. I don't try to stick on disabilities and the gory details, because we're more than our disability. I've said that a million times. Never let our disabilities define us. And that's how you're going to keep your friendship. Don't define yourself by your disability. Be more than that. And don't let your friend define you by your disability. If they're a true friend, they won't. And if you're a true friend, you won't define yourself by your disability to your friend. You're more than your disability. You can talk about more than your disability. You can be more than your disability. And you should be more than your disability. That's how you keep a friend. That's how you keep your able-bodied friends. That's how you keep all your friends, not just your able-bodied friends, all your friends. To maintain a friendship takes a lot of work. You may not realize it, but it does take a lot of work. Each party has to put in 50% of the work. You can't escape that. And if you're not willing to put in 50% of the work, you're going to lose that friendship. Whether you have a disability or not, you have to work at it. You can't expect other people to do it for you. And that's part of the problem for people with a disability. What happens is they get used to other people doing the heavy work for them. They have to get used to doing the heavy work themselves. And I'm not talking through my ass on this because as a person with a disability, I got used to other people doing the work for me. I asked them, is the place handicap accessible? All I had to do was pick up the phone and find out for myself. That's what I do now. It's that easy. And this way I'm not putting that work on someone else. Like my wife, she has so much else to do. I don't have to put these little things on her that add up to be big things on top of all the other things she does. Don't be afraid to push the limits. Know what your limits are and don't be afraid to push them. Doing little things like finding out if some place is handicap accessible, that's far from pushing the limits. Calling up your friend and asking them if they want to go someplace or go to a movie, that's not pushing the limits. That's being a good friend. Start practicing that. Don't wait for people to call you, because what's going to end up happening, eventually, people are going to get tired of it. Because then it becomes a one-way street as a friendship. They're always calling you, but you're never calling them. You're waiting for them to call you. You're going to end up being a very lonely person. And then you're going to be a very miserable person telling people how all my friends left me. They didn't leave you. They got tired of being the only ones active in the friendship. The people that are still around, that are still your friend, they want to remain your friend. That's something that has to be cultivated, has to be worked on. You have to be part of the equation. You can't just be like a silent partner there. You have to be an active partner in the friendship. It's just something to remember, something to think about. But anyway, I want to remind you of something. Things can always be worse. That's right. Right now, there's somebody somewhere wishing that they were in your position, so things can always be worse. You've been listening to An Apple a Day. My name is Jimmy Apple, and I'm going to come back to you again next week. Please check back. Thanks again for being here today, and I'll talk to you again real soon. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Hey, have you joined our Facebook group, Living with a Disability yet? No? What are you waiting for? People are chatting, having fun, asking and answering questions, sharing experiences and making friends. Don't be shy, stop on by. You'll be happy you did. Simply go to www.famousapple.com/group. You'll be glad you did. The address is in the show notes for this episode. Don't miss the next episode of An Apple a Day, Living with a Disability, where host Jimmy Apple delves into the realities of living with a disability. Gain insights, hear inspiring stories, and join the conversation. Tune in for valuable advice and support in navigating daily challenges. This is an important topic. Let's keep the conversation alive.